Okay. Well, I was about to set the time on this 03504, and I figured I would do a quick profile on it. The 03s were the first Casios with a backlight, and it also combined um, the um, error correction pusher and the regular adjust pusher. So this is also an early 4-button Casio, where you have your select pusher for displaying the month, date, and day of the week. And then in regular mode, of course, you have your hours, minutes, and running seconds up top here. These, typical to most of the early Casiotrons, it blinks full time for the full 10 seconds, and it doesn't stack or anything. It just moves on to the next one, and so we can see this is between uh, 20 and 29 seconds. But that's sort of all of the resolution you get with these. This one has a keyed case back and a battery bay there. This one is in really nice condition. Very solid, big chunk of steel. This also has this very interesting bracelet construction you don't see anymore. It's like, I'm not sure about the core of these, but the outside is like a coil of like steel wire that then is like flattened around it. And on the other side, so this side is sort of more how you usually find these, but this one, I suppose because some previous owner wore it quite a lot, it's actually very, very nice and pliable. And it has these little indents that the latch keys into, and so it's also nice and adjustable. These, if they get damaged, are you know very difficult to try to repair, to try to straighten out, and then they also are can be very difficult to get through the clasp. Although when they're like this, when they're in nice condition, they're actually a real pleasure to use, and they go on real easy if you know how to go about that. But the 03, the QW03 module was the first Casiotron with a backlight, and then also it was a little peculiar in that it even the 02 module, the very first Casio module, would remember the set time as you started to adjust it. And the 03, I'm not sure if it was related to them including the backlight and the the 30 seconds correction, but this doesn't remember the set time as you go to set it. So every time it starts out at 1 a.m. But you see how, if the watch is running just a little bit fast, the full adjustment pusher is the top left. The bottom one here would just 0 the seconds, and so you would just get your trusted time source, wait for the stroke of the minute, and then hit that, and it would have adjusted for an error up to plus or minus 30 seconds. It does advance the time if you're between 31 and 59 seconds, and I'm not sure. I think that might be the first advent of that sort of feature with Casio. So, but if we see, right now it's actually 9:12, so we'll start adjusting this. And as you see, It starts out at 1 a.m. because it doesn't have the PM indicator lit here. So I know this is 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And this isn't too bad because we're starting this adjustment in the morning. And if I, want to go ahead and hit that at 9 because it is 9:12 coming up on 9:13. But if I miss that, if, for example, it's 9 o'clock at night and I'm adjusting my Casiotron 03504 and I miss it and I hit either, 8 p.m. or 10 p.m., it's a bit of a pain because you have to start back over at 1 a.m. With the other modules, it's not such a big deal because particularly if you get it wrong an hour early, well, you just re-enter adjustment mode and it will remember the hour, that it's set to, and so you won't have to go back through. But if I set this for, I just set it for 9 a.m. And I say, oops, I want to correct one of those. Oops, no, it's this one. Well, it's going to start over at 1 a.m. So let's get through this. So of course it starts at the hour, and then it moves to the minutes, tens place, and then minutes singles place. And we're still at 9:14, so we'll let this go back through again. And it's 1, and we are going to have time, I think, to get up to 9:15 and set this before we hit the stroke of the new minute. So yes, we do. There we go. And so let's get these positioned here. And of course, you don't have to do this if you're, adjusting it yourself. I'm only doing this because, to get these on camera. Oh, I think I might have been just behind here, but for the purposes of this video, that's fine. And then also, I haven't adjusted this since the leap day, and again, I've seen where people claim that these adjust for the leap day. You do not set the year on this, and so they definitely don't adjust for a leap day. They didn't in 1974, and they certainly can't today. But to adjust the calendar, you hold the just pusher in, and sorry, this is a little disorienting on camera, and also the month starts at 0 every time, and it is the 17th Sunday. So we'll let this increment up to 7. And Sunday. And, oh yeah, I should point out that on this model, it did get a good bit of sun at some point. So this is originally it would be red, but that red, print fades pretty easily. And then you would also have PM on this corner here. So that would stay, that segment would stay lit to indicate that it's, it would be 9:16 p.m. if we saw that there. Oh, and I would be remiss if I didn't show you. This one actually has, and in the vent hood, let's see here. So briefly. It's actually a really nice bright microlight for one of these. Typically you see one that's it's dimmer or it's fading in and out. This one is incredibly bright for a watch that's 50 years old. But typically you see them much weaker. You can read this fairly well. It does an okay job of illuminating the time, but it sort of also just illuminates the reflector instead of the LCD screen. So it but it does work fine, if you, especially if your eyes are adjusted for the dark. It works just great. And then I'll try to, so this bracelet, if you just try to put it on like this, it's kind of miserable, but I'll try to, oh yeah, see. So what I do is I get the watch in place, and then I press this against my chest just briefly, and then I do that to get it started. And so I've just got it through a bit there. And then you can actually, and it is, sorry, it's awkward on camera, but you can actually, in sort of in just one movement, get that sized and attached correctly so that it's on and it's not going anywhere. And this is also, very, very comfortable, very adjustable bracelet. But I do see them often that'll look like, the end gets some damage, and then it's very, very difficult getting it through there. Which, especially with the awkwardness of, getting it through, even when it's in good condition, that being a little difficult is makes it quite hard. So I think, you'd find these on aftermarket bracelets fairly often. But anyway, there's the 03504. Oh yeah, and I'm sure this would be a QW03. Maybe it would be a 54S. I'm not sure, but the S on the end of the original Casio catalog model numbers, I'll call them catalog model numbers because they're not printed on the watches anywhere. In later Casiotron models, they would distinguish between the R and S models with being round and square. The S on the end of most models, and this one I know would be an S because that would be steel, where the only ones that got a different designator would be G for the very few gold models they had at this time. But anyway, there's your 03504. Hope you enjoyed it.